anything to what?
You said you ain't come.
Well, I have, haven't I? Hey, Elsa, do you want to go on this one over here? It's a cracker.
Thought you had no money.
I haven't.
Are you expecting me to pay?
That's what friends are for.
Any word?
No, nothing. She obviously wasn't at Jonah's then.
No, neither was he. Neighbour said he might have gone sailing for the weekend. Sailing, I asked you, in the state of the place.
You don't think she could have gone sailing with him?
I don't know what to think, Gordon. I really don't. Especially after the night she spent at that so-called vigil, or whatever it was called. Lucy didn't say anything to you about going anywhere after school, did she?
Nothing at all.
O-level French. She wasn't exactly looking forward to it, was she?
Not really.
Pity that. She used to quite like it. Remember the letters she used to write to Monique Dubois?
Yeah, she soon stopped writing when she found out that Monique's English was tons better than her French.
How do you think Lucy will do at her exams?
How do I think? Okay, I should think. I mean, she's fairly bright, isn't she?
That's not in question. Sometimes I think she's a damn sight too bright.
Once she gets her teeth into the subject, she's away.
The trouble is, what worries me is, I don't like what she's getting her teeth into.
Hello? Yeah? Yes? Yes, Mr. Collins is here. Right, just a minute.
Who is it?
He didn't say.
You're a bright one. Hello? Collins here. Yes? Well, why is she there? No, I don't quite understand. Well, where is she now? All right, I'll come down straight away.
What's that, Dad?
I am right, aren't I? Lucy did say she was doing her O-levels this afternoon.
Yeah.
Not this morning.
No, this afternoon.
I don't understand.
Dad, what's happened to Lucy?
Well, for some reason or other, she's at the police station. I'm going down to straighten it up.
When I go to the station, I was there to skates. Every time I looked for you, you were sitting down, taking your boots off.
I only took them off twice.
What for?
I got cramp in my foot.
Well, Dennis Fairbright never gets cramp.
Dennis Fairbright's not human, that's why.
He's ace. Did you see him do the figure of eight?
I've got better things to look at.
Oh, yeah, I remember. That was when you went crashing into the barrier. God, I thought you was going to end up in the middle of Prescott Road.
Look, everyone's got to learn sometime.
But others don't bring our fishing down when they're doing it.
I bet even Dennis Fairbright's fallen on his bottom sometimes.
Well, he doesn't see. Anyway, he's going down to London to try for another medal.
Puffy name, Dennis.
And I wouldn't mind going down with him.
Well, if you think skating's the only important thing in the world, you can sodden well go with him and see if I care.
Any word?
Not yet. Let's have another shift here, what you've got there. You're first on the scene, right? You decided to call in for a backup.
Well, yes. The way things were going.
No, that's okay. You did right. You never know with this lot. And all this other carry-on from the women. Was that after the pandas arrived?
Oh, it's going on all the time.
Singing and chanting.
You should have heard him.
Oh, thanks. I'm more for the Nolans myself.
I must imagine here. How long will I have to stay here?
Depends.
Shouldn't somebody read me my rights or something?
That's for when you're actually being charged.
I'm not well up on these things.
No, we'll enlighten you as we go along.
Am I all right? What? Am I being arrested? Not for me to say. But you brought me here. With some difficulty. You're a police officer, can't you say?
You've already been told. Detective Sergeant Prescott wants to talk to your parents.
I don't see why they have to be brought into it.
Oh, you should have thought of that.
You seem to be treating me like some sort of juvenile.
That's what you are, a juvenile. Didn't you know? And you should thank God for it. Otherwise, do you know where you might be now? Behind bars.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I was told to ask for Detective Sergeant Prescott.
Excuse me, sir. There's somebody to see you.
Blast. What can I do for you?
My name is Collins. I believe my daughter, Lucy.
Oh, yeah. I'll be with you in a second. Yeah, these machines are clapped out, you know. If this was the civil service...
I got your message about Lucy. Some kind of misunderstanding, I'm sure.
I wish I could be as sure.
This sort of thing must be very irritating for you people. Some silly schoolgirl prank, was it?
Depends what you mean by prank.
Well, you know what I mean. When they're alone, they're meek and mild, but when a gang of them get together after school, well,
Who said anything about it being after school?
not in school, surely.
Not in school either.
Are you telling me she was playing truant?
It was school hours.
She was supposed to be sitting her O-level exams.
There you are, then. Some kind of daughter.
I don't think I quite like that remark, Sergeant.
Now, what do you make a behaviour like that?
Well, I'd like to hear the facts first. But I can assure you, my daughter's not the sort of girl to do anything illegal.
The number of times I've heard that. If you ask me, one bullshit student's just like another.
I still think there's been a mistake. And if you'd be so kind as to let me see her.
You know, before I do that, I can tell you she wasn't just larking about with a gang of kids.
All right. What crime is she supposed to have committed?
Are you sure they've run home?
Oh, yes.
Must be someone in.
Nothing to worry about, then.
I just don't understand why it's taking so long.
Don't you like it here?
Not much.
How do you think I feel? Anyway, they're not always in a hurry. Parents. Some of them can't be bothered.
My family's not like that.
Sometimes they've got other things to do. Like us.
Just hope the phone's not out of order.
We just send a car round to the house.
Well, not exactly the Bastille, is it?
Where's Mum?
At a meeting. Just as well, perhaps.
Does she know?
Not so far.
What happens now?
You start talking.
You can start by telling your father about the meeting.
What meeting?
Didn't she tell you about that?
You better refresh my memory.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them start. Lack of communication.
There's no lack of communication in our family.
There was today.
Lucy,
It was the last-minute decision.
you were supposed to be taking your French exam. You had Gordon testing you all last evening.
I know. Today there was something more important.
More important than your O-levels?
Yes.
I see. And who took you to this meeting?
No one. Have you come to take me home, Dad?
Yes, Lucy.
But it isn't as simple as that.
Look, shouldn't you be out catching criminals instead of...
Listen here. The officers are only doing their duty, and it's not very pleasant for them. I want you to cooperate.
You mean cop out?
You can cut out that sort of smart talk.
I'm sorry.
If you'll just answer a few more questions, perhaps we can get all this over with and go home.
How did you get to know about this meeting?
You do know how to say, Lucy.
I read about it
Where?
in a magazine.
Oh, what magazine would that be?
Does it? A CND magazine.
Nothing wrong with that. It happens to be her interest at the moment.
Oh, so she's political, is she?
No,
She takes a keen interest in current affairs.
Oh, what did it say in this magazine?
It gives all kinds of information about functions, events.
You know what I mean.
It mentioned this meeting today between the Ministry of Defence and some members of the County Council
Oh, and how did you think this would concern you?
because of what they were going to discuss
And how did you know that?
from the article.
Well, what did it say, this article?
Would you say this was relevant, Sergeant?
I'm just curious, that's all. I mean, I'm interested in current affairs too. I mean, she's got a good head on her shoulders, this girl here, and if she doesn't want to say,
I don't
well...
mind saying. The Ministry of Defence had this piece of land, and they had to apply to the council for permission to build on it. Well, the magazine said that it was going to be used for a nuclear fuels plant. That's what the magazines are about, exchange of information. You can get them from bookshops.
Oh, I must do that. I bet they're dead interesting.
There are some very brilliant people who happen to be in the scene.
And distinguished clerical gentlemen, too.
And some distinguished scientists.
But then you get the hangers-on. You know, I mean, someone gets permission for a demo or a march, all above board. But then when the day comes, we find that half the riffraff of Merseyside have tagged on, you know, anarchists, lefties, punk rockers.
Yes, I realise that. It must be very difficult for the police. But today, it wasn't like that, surely.
They came from nowhere and started to picket the council building, and this young lady here...
Now, what does it amount to, this disturbing?
She tried to prevent a lady councillor from entering the building.
I didn't actually
And
mean...
later on harassed two other councillors as they arrived. She was warned to keep the entrance clear. What happened then?
She returned twice and continued to harass people as they entered the building.
Not very good behaviour, Lucy. Not a nice situation.
I was trying to make a point.
There are other ways.
We say there isn't much time. Once you accept the idea of these nuclear fuels plants...
I'm quite sure the elected members of the council are well aware of that.
In any case, I'm not likely to be bothered very much by young girls who ought to be doing their exams.
Protesting itself isn't illegal, but I do agree. There are other and more dignified ways of making your views known. Any more questions, Sergeant?
Not at the moment.
Could I possibly have a word?
What happens now?
Naturally, I'm sorry about this, but it does seem to have been a bit of a storm in a teacup.
Any kind of civil disturbance has to be checked out.
Oh, granted, yes.
Particularly with staff from the Ministry of Defence are involved.
Oh, I noticed. But to pick up the schoolgirls,
We are talking about a young schoolgirl that doesn't seem to realise what trouble she's getting herself into.
I like your concern. And that's exactly why it was unfortunate that she had to be brought here. Still, now that she's had a good old fright, Well, surely that's it, isn't it?
What?
I mean, you're not taking this any further, are you?
As for us to say.
I mean the girl's age, her circumstances.
That doesn't get so special. Oh, some magistrates might think along those lines. But that's another kettle of fish.
Now, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but a juvenile hauled in for this sort of thing is entitled to one caution, provided there's been no previous trouble.
Some kind of legal expert, are you?
Not really. But I had a lot to do with disciplinary matters in the army.
Sergeant Major, eh?
Lieutenant Colonel, actually.
Not that it makes any difference.
Oh, of course it makes no difference. Only a fool would think otherwise. But in the circumstances, is there any point in detaining this girl any longer?
Yes, I think there is. Perhaps it'll nip it in the bud with her. And it may be an example to a few others.
Joke?
Honest, Mum. Dad went down there right away.
Well, can't you tell me anything more?
I don't think he knew anything more.
There must be some kind of message. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Look, he just said to tell you where he'd gone.
Well, how long's he been gone?
About half an hour, I think.
What am I supposed to do?
Look, he just said to tell you that the police were talking to Lucy down at the station, and they wanted one of the parents.
My God, I must know more about it than that.
You all right, Lucy?
Better since you came down. Thanks, Dad.
Suppose I hadn't been available.
I'm glad you were. If it'd been Mum, how much does she know?
She's got the gist. She rang the station as soon as she got in.
She'll be more upset over my missing the exam than anything else.
And rightly so. I didn't mention it, but I really am upset, Lucy.
I'm sorry.
We all hate exams. I hated them. Oh, yes, it was all tests and exams in the army. Everyone was hell so far as I was concerned, but they're a fact of life. Without your qualifications, you're nothing.
I realised that. But this thing today was more important to me than anything.
Not just today. I'd say you've been losing interest for ages. Putting off your homework, coming home late in the evenings, getting up dog-tired. Out with that Jonah fellow.
It doesn't mean anything.
I thought it was strange, but I didn't stand in your way.
It doesn't mean anything.
I don't know what to think.
Got to admit it, though. It's a long way to walk, isn't it?
I thought you liked exercising.
It's the walking home, I don't like.
Well, we didn't walk all the way.
No, only from where the inspector put us off the bus.
Hey, he was a right Nazi in, wasn't he? All he needed was a little moustache and a pair of them jackboots. We'd have ways of making you walk.
You look at us.
Well, we got as far as Queen's Drive anyway.
Do you know how much the fare is from town to you?
Yeah, it's just that I never pay it. Got no money anyway.
Definitely a nutcase.
Is that why you love me?
Ah, I've got a face only your mother could love.
Oh, hey, I'm better looking than Duxie or Gizmo.
So now I know why you're always with them too.
Oh, well, I do, you know.
Yeah, I do. Alongside them, our dog will look handsome. Anyway, forget the love bit, Doty. Whenever we go anywhere, to the disco or to the ice rink, I can talk to you when the lads want to, right?
As long as he's bigger than me, yeah.
And we can say just mates.
Fair enough. Only one slag, though. Mum says I can't bring my mates round to our house anymore.
Oh, well, you just have to start coming round to ours then, won't you?
See you tomorrow.
Sure.
Who's guarding Red Lucy?
I think she's learned a lesson.
I think I shook the old man. Perhaps he'll keep a closer eye on her in future.
No point pressing charges.
Oh, that's your recommendation. I'll give her another talking to and then send them on their way.
You know, I've seen this coming. That girl's slowly drifting away from this family.
Oh, I'm sure it was just, you know, spur of the moment.
First of all, Jonathan, then Jonah, and then this terrible thing. It's almost as if she's trying to shock us.
You know, if she had planned something special, I'm sure she'd have dropped a hint or something.
Glad she confides in someone.
Hey, they're coming.
God, it seems a long time since I left this house.
I'm glad to be home.
What time did you manage to get back then?
I didn't know what had happened. I couldn't get anything out of Gordon.
Well, there wasn't much he could tell you. Thank goodness you were able to get through to the station.
Well, I hope I never have to make a call like that again.
Amen to that. Sit down, love.
I just don't know what to say.
Lucy and I have already had a long chat.
I've tried to explain. How could you? How could you walk away from your O-levels in this day and age? I mean, as if that isn't bad enough.
I can always do them again.
To end up in a police station. It's like a nightmare.
I'm sorry, Mum.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's easy to say sorry. I won't do it again. You've been doing rather a lot of that lately, haven't you? What in God's name did you think you were doing?
She thought she was acting according to her conscience.
Oh, has she got one?
Look, I was trying to make a point outside that meeting. It would have been easy for me to have just walked away when the policeman came up.
Easy? It would have been common sense.
Wouldn't have been me.
Sometimes, Lucy, I think you suffer from delusions of grandeur. If it had been me who went down to that station instead of your father, I'd have made you get down on your knees and apologize.
Now, Annabelle, you probably would have done exactly what I did. Lucy may have been wrong-headed, but at least she did believe in what she was doing.
I don't enjoy causing you to worry.
You could have fooled me.
The main thing was to get away from that station as quickly as we could and with as much dignity as possible.
What will people say?
Or whatever they say. Whenever any member of this family's in trouble, it's up to the rest of us to rally round. Anyway, I suppose you're all starving. I know I am. I'll volunteer to rustle up something to eat. Could have been a lot worse for all of us.
How do you think I felt?
I know. I know.
You are weird, you know that?
Don't you start as well.
You might have told me what you were up to.
I didn't know myself till the last minute.
Was it your own idea?
Sort of. When I read about it, I just thought to myself, this meeting's today. It's now or never.
Yeah, and to hell with the French exam, yeah?
Hard luck, it just happened to be on the same day.
It's crazy, though. I mean, God, you've really lashed out with your O-levels now.
I'll survive.
Better than being in Clink, though. What was it like there? Did they put you in a cell?
No. Feeling was the same, though. One of those dingy rooms designed to drive you to despair in 5 seconds flat.
Were you left on your own?
I may as well have been. There was this sort of snotty policewoman standing on guard.
So you wouldn't do yourself an injury?
Yeah. To tell you the truth, I was feeling pretty rotten.
Has all this sort of put you off?
Put me off what?
You know, CND and all that.
That detective bloke did his best. It was funny, that. It was as though it wasn't just a breach of the peace, but something he took personally.
Thought you had a bomb in your school bag. Didn't they open anyone else?
No. Just me.
Weren't they kicking up the same row then?
Yeah, worse, some of them. Suppose they just picked on me as an example. You go into these things with your eyes open.
Oh, you're not telling me you expected to land in the nick, though.
Of course not.
You want to watch it next time.
Look, if they think it's going to stop me demonstrating, they've got another thing coming.
His mum took it the worst, you know.
I know. You'd expect Dad to blow his top and Mum to smooth things down.
Yeah, right. What's happened?
I don't know. Perhaps we just grown up.
Hey, guess who's just invented a weapon to end all weapons?
God, who?
President Reagan!